I always knew it would be for a reason. And so I'm very glad that the reason was to make sure that other people didn't suffer too. And you know, his story has inspired so many people. It's inspired me to carry on. And you know, the things, and his recovery has been incredible. So his hand that they told me he'd never feel again, right? We got back from Spain, and within 2 weeks he was on oil every single day, and 2 weeks later he said, my hand's hurting. I said, your hand can't hurt, darling.
It can't be possible. Exactly.
It
You
can't
know, you
hurt.
remember that permanent thing that was done.
Which was less than a year later, you know, less than a year. And I said, Deryn, and I didn't know whether this was ghost pains or I didn't know what this was. And he said, Mum, I'm telling you, my hand. And he was in agony at points. He said it was like electric shocks going down his fingers. And with each time, as each day passed, he got more and more feeling in his hand, just more and more. And now, 7 years later, he has full range of movement. It's only the very, very fingertips he can't feel. And this happened within probably a year. All of that came back within a year of him taking cannabis oil every single day. And I've slapped that hand on the oncologist's desks and I've said, explain this to me. And he said, I can't. And I said, well, I can. It's called neurogenesis. And it's regrow of neural pathways. And we can actually see people who have had strokes. Actually, when they have the damaged part of the brain, it can regrow neural pathways around the brain, around the damaged part, and we can get 100% recovery on strokes, given enough time. And THC, again, is one of the most important cannabinoids for that. So there's nothing, you know, all of these things that they tell me are irreparable, they're not. He's repaired. He had avascular necrosis in his right femur, which apparently you cannot heal dead bone. I was called into the office and they said, we need to have a word, because they said he'd need a knee replacement. They said he's going to need a knee replacement within 5 years because there's no way of coming back from this. And I said, okay. So he had an MRI scan 5 years later, and they brought me in and said, I believe you were under the impression that Deryn had avascular necrosis. And I said, I wasn't under the impression. I've got the scans. I said, what are you telling me here? And they said, well, this is impossible. I said, has it gone? And he said, yes. And I said, it's not impossible though, is it? I said, you know, and he said, well, we never see this in any of our other patients. And I said, none of your other patients are on cannabis oil. And he said, I knew you'd say that word. And I said, I'm going to keep saying this until you start listening, because you have other patients. He's not an anomaly here. You know, if it's working for him, he has an endocannabinoid system like every other mammal in the world. And I said, you know, it's regrown his leg, it's regrown his hand. Every year he has to go in and he has checkups because they're looking for the long-term side effects of this plethora of treatment they gave him, you know, everything we can without killing him. They said, you know, if he survives, within 10 years, he'll have cataracts, he'll have heart failure, liver, all of these things. He goes in every year for his checkup, and every single year it gets better. His results are getting better. They should be getting worse, and they cannot get their head around this. And he goes in and goes, cannabis, and they just don't want to know. So,
well, I suppose you're always, you know, not you just in general, but everybody's always going to be up against the fact that wherever we come across a body of people, that's literally a physical body of people, and the medical profession is huge, you know. We've never particularly attacked it. It isn't healthy to do so. So of course, strictly in our own heads, we keep our own counsel and we respect most of what they've ever said to us, allowing for our own ignorance potentially. You're fighting that with both knowledge, with evidence, and you're saying in so many words, look, something that my boy was able to take that I believe anybody else could take, so please at least open your minds, could be a probable solution for you. So Callie, you know, I think you've done a life-enhancing, a life-changing thing for your boy. I've seen him, I know he's fitting well. I'm super grateful to you for coming on. I think you've genuinely informed us, which is the mission, I think, as well, because I do know that all of us can fall into the trap of thinking, yeah, you know, let's listen, and then think, yeah, well, it won't work for me, you know, cynics as we are. But what you're telling us is manageable. I think it's feasible, and you know, hey, like you said already, you have nothing to lose. What you are able to get hold of with the different terpenes that you've talked about. So consider it, look at the options. Callie's got a lot of information that she can also give you, because you have a specific website for the oils, don't you? Would you just tell people what that is?
Yeah, it's theactivist.co.uk, and I'm more than happy. Anybody wants to get in touch with me, well, I will talk to anybody about this. All this, what I spend my life doing is I talk to people every day, all day about it, and just trying to educate people and give people a better quality of life. And as I say, the majority of people who come to me can get away with just having CBD. They don't need to break the law. And as I say, I recommend that you don't break the law unless you really, really have to, because as I say, it's another stress that we don't need to add to ourselves. And so whilst we do have these products that are out there that we can use to great effects, I mean, as I say, the effects that I've seen just from the CBD alone has been incredible. It's definitely worth giving a go, because you've got nothing to lose. You know,
No,
it's not gonna kill you. It's not gonna hurt you. I say that cannabis is, you know, especially with THC, but I say that cannabis is a very effective treatment with minimal detrimental side effects, of which the same cannot be said for conventional treatment. You know, if they give you antidepressants, you know, the risks of suicide with antidepressants is so huge. Whereas cannabis, you know, the minimal detrimental side effects usually come from high levels of THC when you get a little bit uncomfortable, and people then, what we say is chuck a whitey, and they get very uncomfortable. But that passes, and it's never long term, you know. And as I say, with the appropriate amount of CBD alongside, it's quite harmless, you know.
Thank you. So you were saying that if people want to be able to specifically write to you to ask a question, where would they write to?
They can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as Callie Blackwell _. Or if you go onto my website, I think there's a way you can email me by there as well. Or I'm on Facebook, Callie Blackwell. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm not hard to find, really. It's very easy to get hold of me.
I completely agree. And also the sale of your book, it's in paperback, and it's called The Boy in 7 Billion, and it's by yourself and Karen Hockney. And I cannot thank you enough. It's been truly informative. So Callie, thank you very much indeed for your time. And I know everybody listening have been absolutely fascinated, riveted.
Thank you.
So
thank you.